Alright. It's go live. I'll put everything together. Just got home, was out and about running some stuff. Sorry if we are a little delayed. Alright. Hi, everybody. Today we have a best of 5 between Hannodins and Bloodpenguin. Got the blocker up before I enter the lobby in case anybody's already working on their builds. This is for BBB Season 1 playoffs. We are in the semifinals. The other semifinal, I believe, is Khorne versus Chief, which is not happening today. Just informing you that it exists. Alright, we're here. Alter the little blocker so you can see their names nice and clear. You dark elf hater. Okay. Gotta pump that doom wheel to get some electricity. Yeah. So that was not a very enthusiastic hi everybody. Yeah, I just like drove home real fast. I was running some errands, ran into some issues. Out and about on the road, so got home a little late. Had to kind of sprint through everything, so I'm here. Let me get the scorecard updated. ODM Hannodins. So Hannodins does do quite a lot for the multiplayer scene in general. I know he does some stuff for Dom, does some stuff for land battles. I'm gonna go with Plague Penguin, just because that's what he is on your guys' screen. I know him as Bloodpenguin on Discord. He does tend to change his name around a lot, but he is one of my admins. So Bloodpenguin, admin of mine, Bretonia and Empire main, plays a decent amount of chaos-type factions. Some kids love to things like that. I really don't see him playing too many elven factions, so interesting he's already hovering dark elves. Hannodins plays a bit of everything. I know he tends to play Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, Khorne when he's having some fun, but when he's sweaty tryharding, he can relatively play any faction. Yeah. So Hannodins is pretty flexible. Bloodpenguin has some off-kilter mains that not a lot of people play, and he plays them very, very well. But when it comes to the meta stuff, he's alright. He's alright at it. Definitely not as proficient on some of like the regular meta picks as like Alfredino, Hannodins, Khorne. He's kind of a little more like the BBB guys where they have their specialty factions that they're really good on, and they kind of stay good on them. Like Umbrella plays Nurgle and Greenskins pretty much no matter what. Strat plays Skaven, Beastmen. Though Strat used to play Chaos. Used to teach me the all-mobility chaos builds. Alright, I'll catch up with chat in a second. That was the intro. I have some messages. I need to make sure they're not about the stream. There is a second caster here. I don't know the full story on that. I know Chief said there was another guy casting. I believe he's a Spanish caster, so that tracks. 3-hour card run home, perfect time to watch the stream. Hell yeah, Booj, hell yeah. Alright, boop. Let's get rid of this. Love you too, Bavaret. Human had to fight off Mad Max Fury Road Bandits to get home. And with the $5 Discord chose surprise, so surprise. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the donations. Very much appreciated. Where the artwork come from? From my board game. That would be the Paladin and the Berserker Demon. From that, I pilfer the board game art to make some of the cool thumbnails or whatever because I don't really want to steal things from Google. Sometimes it gets artists mad. So I try to avoid stealing things. Sometimes I have to. Why you know use Empire picture for Penguin? Because I am a poo-poo butthead. I want to play Warhammer, but I'm stuck in a car. Send help. Alright, help's on the way. What the fuck happened? Best of 5, best of 7, best of 5. Rocket, Jesus Christ. Oh, they were on the wrong map. Okay. I didn't put the blocker back up because I just had to switch the map, so no problems here. Okay. Yep, they just had the wrong map. Well, Penguin and Hannodins are two of the three people I hope to win. I see. I see. Chat is not happy with Bloodpenguin. I disagree. I think Bloodpenguin is the best person ever. No. Cards on the table. Both these players are great individuals. Hannodins does a shitload for the community. Oh, wait, he's over here. Hannodins does a shitload for community. He does great stuff. But Bloodpenguin is my training partner. When I first got onto Turin's Faction War as Skaven, I was really nervous. Bloodpenguin practiced with me. Because at the time I was in RTK, and my first round matchup was against another RTK member, so I couldn't practice with RTK people or they would betray me. So I practiced with Bloodpenguin. He was always very nice, helped me out with a lot of stuff. And now he's on my admin team, so... My fan opinion is I do hope Bloodpenguin prevails today. My caster meta opinion, I think it's going to be a 3-2 series. I think Hannodins has an edge in playing much more meta stuff and having better, like, meta reads in ways. So, like, he'll be doing really good picks and bans and stuff, and he'll get himself into pretty good matchups. But on the side of Bloodpenguin, why I do think he might take the series today, or I at least think it'll be close, is Bloodpenguin is really, really good micro, and his builds are always a little off, which isn't always a bad thing. Kind of like Cal Harmon, Falcon, Flying Taco had builds that like weren't necessarily 100% meta. They could take your opponent a little off guard, and they just don't know how those unit interactions work out, right? Like, you're used to fighting Cold One Spear Riders versus Dragon Princes. You know how that's going to go every time. But you don't really know how Cold One Spear Riders do versus Reiksguard. And it's like, okay, is this worth my time? Is this a matchup you're taking? So, I don't know. Bloodpenguin has some off-meta stuff. He can maybe throw you for a bit of a loop there. So both players have some stuff. But if it's meta versus meta, I think Hannodins is going to take it. So I think it's in Bloodpenguin's interest to mix up some of the matchups a little bit here. Rambling aside, what the fuck? I just said Penguin does the off-meta stuff, Hannodins. You take 4 Bestigor herds as the goddamn Beastmen. That is 4 Bestigor herds for the Beastmen. We also have Black Orcs Ravagers, a Gore herd, ROR. We have some Centigors, looks like 2 Centigors, plus the Sons of Goro Centigors, great weapons, ROR, Butcher's Kelvingord, ROR, regenerating Minotaurs, more Centigors throwing axes, some dogs in the distance, and Malagor Dark Omen in the sky with Flock of Doom, an enfeebling foe. On the other side for Bloodpenguin and the Dark Elves, we have a Supreme Sorceress of Dark with Soul Stealer, Opal Amulet, and her Breath Attack. For Black Ark Corsair Handbow Skirmishers, they have been rising in popularity recently. They are a very, very solid hybrid unit, just generally useful. Most times you won't regret taking them in any form whatsoever. Dread Spears across the front line, 2 Black Guard of Nagarond in the back, 2 Witch Elves, and some Dark Riders. So the Dark Elves are relying pretty heavily on infantry prowess to win the game, and I get a little concerned if they get into a late game scenario where they can just get cycle charged over and over again. That could get a little scary for them. But as long as they can use pressure with the Dragon for Soul Stealers and these Skirmishers to keep the cavalry a little honest without the cycle charging, the Dark Elves should win the frontline fight. Even with 4 Bestigor herds, I mean, one of them's already missing a quarter of its health, another one's been chunked out, and breath attacks are waiting for him. I do not like the Bestigor pick. I'll catch up with chat in a second, sorry. Things got wild pretty fast. Frontlines have collided for now, so Dread Spear's trying to hold back Bestigors. They will probably lose that. You would expect Bestigors to do quite well there. Flock of Doom's even getting spammed down, but there's the breath attack we were talking about. It is coming in. The Bestigors do not dodge, though it curves away. What the hell, Dark Elf? Okay, whatever. Just deletes an entire Dread Spear for no reason. Does a little bit of damage on the Bestigor herd, but honestly, that breath attack, a bit of a swing and a miss. Don't know why it aimed that far to the right, but it did. Blacker Corsairs continuing to fire into mostly Centaurs at this point since they're taller and a little easier to hit. But other Centaurs, this is what we're worried about. The Dark Elves have almost no skin in the game as far as the mobile elements go. So the Centaurs are pretty free to walk around the backline as they see fit. Enfeebling foe, nerfing down some of these Blackguard, while Bestigors continue to do their grisly work on some of the Dread Spears here. And that first Breath Attack going awry is really hurting the Dark Elves. But Dark Elves holding together on balance of the damage value. Dogs attacking Blackguard Corsair Handbows, but this is why people really like this unit. 80 armor and solid melee stats. They're beating the Warhounds that caught them, and this is a big problem for Hannodins. Oh no, Malagor's gonna get rampaged right here. He can't leave, as he's down to barely any HP. He's even terror routing, but actually the terror rout might save him from rampaging and staying in this fight, unless he pops back to non-terrified now and just rampages in the face of this Dark Elf caster lady. But losing the Beastman Lord as soon as he touches the ground is brutal. He does actually get up into the sky, and he leaves the dragon behind him. More rampages in the Beastmen line. Centaurs are chasing off things in the Dark Elves. Oof. Soul Stealer almost catches Malagor, but an impressive 110 speed gets him out of there. So a bit of a whiffed Soul Stealer, and unfortunately the rampage did not keep Malagor on the ground for the Dark Elves. As far as the rest of the fight goes, more Flocks of Doom spammed out of Malagor, really just trying to whittle down the Dark Elf infantry spam. Blackguard are beating up some Bestigors. Centaurs rampage by Witch Elves to stay in fights that they really want to be cycle charging. So that is a little unfortunate for them. Other than that, though, it looks confusing. It is very hard to look at this battlefield and tell who is winning. It is neck and neck as far as battlefield control goes. Like, everywhere I look, there are dead Dark Elves and dead Beastmen. No one's really feeling that healthy. But I do have to slightly favor the Dark Elves in this game. If the next two Soul Stealers are focused just like click on Malagor, just Soul Stealer Malagor specifically, he will probably get close to dying from that, and it'll heal up your Dragon Lord. And without that, I don't know if the Beastmen's leadership can hold. How are we doing on Blackguard? They'll be important in the late game. One is at half HP. That's about it. Another Breath Attack onto the Centaurs with throwing axes, gets a good deal of poke, and this time no friendly fire, but then the dragon landing right on the Supreme Sorcerer, dragon landing on the Bestigors will immediately rout them off, getting those Blackguards some space to work. Bounce power is still dead, even though the Dark Elves have taken a little bit of a lead on the balance of the damage value. Good stuff, good stuff. Now, wherever a Dark Elf leaves the map, Centaurs are there to chase them, except for as soon as I say that, these Blackguard Corsairs with actually a good amount of ammunition are going to be allowed to rally. So something pressing must have came up for these Centaurs, and it's the rampaging Butchers of Kalkengard. They needed to try and buy some space, needed to help these guys out a little bit, because they are going to be important to the Beastmen if the Beastmen will win this game. That regenerating armor-piercing unit is the only threat that can really keep that Supreme Sorceress of Dark from doing whatever she wants in the battlefield. And when they're rampaging, I think Hannodins identified he needed to do something to try and save them, though it doesn't look like it is enough. They're still taking a lot of damage. There's the Soul Stealer targeted on Malagor, like we said. It's a shame that it's not going to punish a blob, for sure, but like Malagor is very slippery. He's much faster than your caster, so the only real threat you have on him is those Soul Stealers. It's very important to just hit him with that unavoidable damage and really keep whittling him down. Butcher's Kalkengard getting routed off. But as we have mentioned all game, as long as they're not shattered or completely killed, they will probably be okay. The Dark Elves don't have a lot of forces to actually chase them. Their Dark Riders have long since been pushed off the battlefield. So those Butchers will just probably walk to their safety. Dark Elves have taken a commanding lead in this game, though. Beastmen are just running out of men to throw at the Dark Elves to continue whittling them down. We have one healthy-ish Bestigor herd. Again, considering it's the late game, that's healthy-ish. A throwing axe with actually a ton of ammunition and a good amount of health. But other than that, it is utter scraps. For the Dark Elves, we have a big scary dragon lady with self-healing from Soul Stealer. One healthy-ish unit of infantry from the Blackguard Corsair Handbows, another Blackguard Corsair Handbow with ammunition but no health. And that is it for the Dark Elves. We have some Blackguard and Aggron coming back. Actually, with 2,000 HP, that hyper-elite unit is going to stick around for a while in the late game. So the Beastmen still have some more bodies on the field, but, I mean, factoring in a healthy Dragon Lord in the late game, it is just feeling doomed. Another Soul Stealer is going to come out. It's going to hit Malagor. He does dodge away from his Bestigors to make sure they don't get hit by it, but that healing for her and damage versus him might just tip us into army losses territory, and the Dark Elves might just take first game. Alright, let's see how good my prediction was earlier. 2 Soul Stealers brought him to 600 health, but didn't quite kill him. Another breath attack onto the Bestigors before they get engaged. I don't think this is actually going through Bloodpenguin's head, but it does. I find it funny for my internal narrative that after that first one deleted his own Dread Spear, he was like, fuck it, no more breath attacks on anything that's touching my guys. I'm gonna use one on a Centaur that's in the middle of nowhere. I'm gonna use one on a Bestigor that's in the middle of nowhere. No friendly fire. Alright. Malagor Dark Omen, pretty decent value for just a caster support lord, as far as Malagor goes. So he did alright there. Butcher's Calvin Guard, Sons of Goros did alright. Bestigors, mixed value, honestly did better than I would have expected, but still not incredible. They just did fine. Centaur's Throwing X's did alright. The Gore Herd, Centaurs did okay. But everything on the Beastmen roster just kind of doing okay. Versus the Dark Elves. Okay, well, let's see. These Blackguard are almost dead. They did fine. Black Corsair Hambos did really well, but they're all almost dead. Witch Elves did really well, but they're almost dead. Dread Spears, and the Dark Riders didn't do great. Oh yeah, and there's a full health Dragon Lord. So it's like, with all the healing that comes in from the Dragon Lord, everything doing okay, you need like an extra 2,000, 3,000 value coming out of your army to win the game, and I just don't see anybody on this roster, unfortunately, carrying that extra weight. Supreme Sorceress of Dark did make a lot of the difference. 2,200 value, but her gigantic health pool at the late game did cause those army losses. So, GG. GG. All right, I'm going to get caught up in chat now. I have 5 pings. What is it about? Okay. Sorry, I was busy reading some stuff, making sure it's not about this. Chat. Bavarat loves Blood Penguin. You're Penguin and Team Penguin. Go Beasties. We had enough Elves yesterday. The Beastmen did lose. I wonder who is the one you hope doesn't win. Yeah. It's obscure. My bias is obscure. Hannodins let me pick Dark Elves into Doors, and I won that one. Oh, your Chaos Rainbow build got a double feature on Human Boy, yes, and Dav. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I love sharing content with other creators. It feels great. It feels great. I get 35 messages a day saying I'm just a ripoff of Turin and Dav and Rubber Duck of War. But it feels great, Booj, to share the spotlight with everybody else. What about me, Booj? What about my ambitions? There's your daily dose of cringe. Dark Elf Mage cackling as she poisons her own troops. Yeah. It was a GG. It was very good. For the picks and bans. So how the BBB Season 1 works is there's no global ban per se, but before your opponent picks, you can ban one. So in this case, Bloodpenguin says, I'll ban Dark Elves. Hannodins picks Empire, bans Skaven, Dwarves, and Ogre Kingdoms. So it's pick 1, ban 3 after your opponent stops you from picking something. And Bloodpenguin responds with Khorne. Empire versus Khorne. Real recognizes you put the replay out first. Tee. Yay. Shit happens. Like, usually people put their good replays for anybody who will cast them, and, you know, casters don't cast every single replay, so it's usually not a thing that they'll repeat them. I was just being facetious. I try, like, if I see something already out, I'm not going to record that game again, but it's very rare because I have videos scheduled until June 21st right now. So if I fell off of a bridge, I would have daily videos out until June 21st, and then they would stop, and then you'd all figure out that something happened to me. Just because I record stuff ahead of time. For example, the video that came out today, the Dark Elf Mains Be Like, I've recorded every single Mains Be Like video, and that alone is 23 more videos that are scheduled. Like, if I get an idea that I like, I usually just take a day and bang them all out. Khorne feels really weak after recent nerfs. Yeah, I've been enjoying Khorne, but I haven't been winning a ton on Khorne. I have some decent builds into High Elves, though against, like, really... Well, okay. Here's the tough part. Is I don't want to say, like, really good High Elf players, and then people that I've beaten with my Khorne build, and they were playing High Elves are like, alright, thanks for the shade, Human Boy, but, like, I'm talking about, like, High Elf mains. Like, people that just play High Elves, and that's about it. Because they have some pretty good anti-Khorne builds, but I found that people that dabble in High Elves tend to bring roughly the same thing into Khorne, and I can beat them. And then, like, High Elf aficionados or one-tricks have some really loopy shit that I just can't deal with. Like, as Khorne. I don't know. Because I have this, like, Blood Crusher, Fleshhounds of Khorne, 2 Minotaurs, and some Marauders build with Valkia. And then my opponent will take full Cav with some Valyrian Reaver archers, but otherwise just Cav, and Valky's Spear Sleipnir is worthless, and my infantry is worthless, and then I just get picked down through the entire game, or I take a bad engagement with my Cav without infantry support and get, like, killed or something. I don't know. It's just, like, it's shit like that. But if you have the general standard, I'm gonna take some Lothern Sea Guards, some Spearmen, Imric on a Dragon. Khorne can do okay into High Elves. But that was a side tangent. That's just the one place I've been really enjoying Khorne. Outside of that matchup, and maybe a couple others that are more in his wheelhouse, a lot of the meta stuff does tend to pick Khorne apart. Because he's weak to 2 different things, and it's really annoying for him to deal with. He's weak against large, strong melee single entities with an abundant source of healing. So like Lizardmen and Nurgle can be kind of tough for Khorne at times. There are ways to deal with it, right? There are ways to deal with it. But it can be tough if you're not building specifically for it. And then on the other side, you have getting hard-kited, which is hard for Khorne. And again, Khorne can deal with it if he knows he's going to get hard-kited. But here's like the proposition for you. Dark Elves. Okay, are you dealing with Scourge Runners, Repeater Crossbows, Fate of Buna / Spirit Leech Caster kiting around the map, Black Arquebuster Handbows kiting you? Or are you dealing with Blackguard of Naggarond, Hargoneth Executioner, Malekith on a Dragon, Blob? Because you need 2 very different builds for that. Or like, Lizardmen is another great example. Are you dealing with the Shredder of Lustria with the Life Slun and a Rev Crystal and like a shit ton of healing, because that's how I play that matchup versus Khorne? Or are you dealing with like 4 Skink Skirmishers, some Ripperdactyls and Pterodons, more of the kite style, and you're just going to get whittled down and poked and stuff? So it's tough. Khorne has a tough time. Because Skull Crushers, unfortunately, aren't that good. Even though they have anti-large and armor piercing, if they surround a Dreadsaurian, they just don't do that much damage, which they should. Because then that would solve some of your problems, right? If you had tools that were good at chasing down skirmishers or isolating a big target and beating the shit out of it, but you just don't. You don't. Because to win the big duel, you need the Arwar Gorgon, the Bloodbrute Behemoth, or Scarbrand, maybe. And if you bring that and you're getting kited, well, you just presented them with a 2,600 gold giant, impossible to miss target that only gets regen when it's in melee. So, yeah, it's tough. But that Khorne rant presented to you by Mercedes-Benz just got you through a build phase, because we're about ready to get into this game. Looks like we do have Empire versus Khorne. Since I can see behind the blocker, I don't want to say too much about any builds that I would take or anything, because if that ends up being the case, then it sounds like I was spoiling. But now that we are in the loading screen, the Empire is playing this about how I have always seen the Empire play it. Hard kite. Because there's two ways to beat Khorne that I just discussed, and the Empire does not have as much of the big single entity with healing. Now, Hannodins took Franz, single entity duelist with healing. You get the point, but it's not going to win you the whole game, so he does have to rely much more on the kite angle to get a lot out of here. Because Khorne's going to dominate like an Empire infantry box or a heal blob or anything like that. Penguin mains Empire and knows more than your average bear about Khorne. I bet he's really happy with this matchup right now. Oh, I don't know. As soon as Hannodins picked it, he slammed 3 war wagons, 2 pistoliers. So I feel like Hannodins knows how to do this, because on the other side, Bouge, Hannodins has played a good amount of Khorne. So I think he also knows what their weaknesses are. Does flaming damage stop all healing? It mitigates a little bit of all healing, but it still feels like you're healing a shit ton. So you're saying having melee and basically nothing else works better lore-wise than an actual tactical warfare? Imagine my surprised Pikachu face. It's true, dude. Blood for the blood god, skulls for skullchrome, milk for the cornflakes. Let's go, Khorne. Fair enough. For the builds, we have 2 Minotaurs with great weapons, a basic Blood Shrine of Khorne, which does provide the AoE melee attack and leadership. It also has regeneration when in melee combat. We have 1 Throwing Axe Cav, just to keep any flying units like Franz a little honest. 2 Fleshhounds of Khorne, and then we have Chaos Warriors and Marauders saturated throughout the front line with Valkia the Bloody. On the other side, we have 2 Pistoliers, 3 War Wagons, and an Outrider with grenade launchers, 4 Empire Knights, a couple Spearmen, Karl Franz, and a Jade Wizard on a horse. Looking at the builds, I heavily favor Hannodins coming into this game. I am ready... Oh yeah, there's also a Cultist. I did skip over him. He has the Gate of Khorne. I heavily favor Hannodins. I just don't see how Khorne's going to win this game. A lot of their money is in these Chaos Warriors, and they're never going to get the fight. Like, that's just not going to happen. So you're relying on a Throwing Axe Cav, 2 Fleshhounds, and 2 Minotaurs to catch all this skirmish, with Franz playing a little bit of defense. Nah, dude. Khorne's dead as hell. Hey, Black Knight, thank you for the $11. Here's the best darn Warhammer streamer and the best damn night crew. We're stuck in the cottage country, boys. That sounds pleasant, but you say stuck, so it makes me think that it's a bad thing. Do they have the ammo to go through all the armor? I mean, it might take them a while, but they'll get there. Outriders, grenade launchers, and the war wagons ready to shoot. Looks like they're going to just try and ignore Valkia, who is diving onto them. She takes some strays and gets kind of murked. And Franz is probably going to dive in here. Now he has to be careful of the ranged pressure. He can't just land in front of handgunners slash huntsmen slash cannons slash Drada warrior crossmen. Oh yeah, it's Khorne. Never mind, he can land wherever the fuck he wants to. They can't punish him. Valkia is chasing into the war wagon. She can either pop the demon shield to mitigate the pokey-pokes, but then Franz will just sit around, and as soon as it wears off, he's going to dive on her, or she can hold it like she is, accept the pokes, but then Franz can't ever commit because he doesn't want to fight the demon shield, so... Pretty smart stuff there. Cultist of Khorne dives forward. I wouldn't be shocked if Franz just dove in for a quick rear charge on him for a little bit of poke damage. We are already losing a Fleshhound on the far side. Empire is up 1,200 to 78. Cultist of Khorne half health, a Fleshhound already dead, Valkia missing a quarter of her HP. And I did say this build would be very, very difficult for Khorne to deal with. And you all doubted me. You doubted me! How dare you doubt Hummus Man, yes, yes. Hummus Man, yes, yes, knows literally everything in the whole world. Pistoliers continue to shoot. War wagons firing in as well. The Blood Shrine of Khorne is down around half HP. Cultist is as well. Valkia continues to take poke, and 1 Spearman has been the cost. It's 2,400 to 200 damage value, and it is looking that way. A lot of these Chaos Warriors struggling to just find a fight, find something to do in this game. Finally, Khorne might get a little bit of a break as the Pistoliers potentially get caught by the Fleshhounds. But it looks like the Fleshhounds content themselves with 1 or 2 horsemen, leaving the rest to get out free and clear. More spearmen are dying. I'm pretty sure the Empire does some token, like, public service announcement about they died as heroes, but in general don't actually care that these spearmen are dying. They're very happy with how this battle is going so far. Pistoliers continue to shoot the Fleshhounds in the face. They do not have missile resist, they have physical resist and 30 armor, but that's not a lot versus the Pistoliers. They will probably start disintegrating soon. Franz is trying to rout off some Chaos Warriors, though this is maybe a mistake from Hannodins, landing in front of Valkia like that, where she can get a rear charge. Maybe even Minotaurs could get involved, but it looks like not. Minotaurs are mostly just standing back, waiting for their turn to play. If I had, assuming this isn't a mistake, right? Assuming these aren't tactical reserves, which they're now starting to move now, so they might have been a mistake. But benefit of the doubt, maybe he was holding back the Minotaurs to let the War Wagons shoot all of their ammo and like Chaos Warriors and stuff, but still. Even if that is the case, it's just a really tough one. Valkia is down below half HP now. Franz takes a fight until that Demon Shield's pop, then he backs off. Spear Sleipnir goes through some Spearmen. Now with the Demon Shield off, Franz all of a sudden stops running, and Valkia backs off. Fleshhounds, 0 leadership, will start that demonic instability crumbling soon, and they are gone. Grenade launchers firing a little bit into the Chaos Warriors before they have to run away from the Minotaurs, who are about to get Gatling gunned down by the War Wagons and Pistoliers. Oh, that was a lot of HP off. I mean, it's like a quarter of their HP. Now like a third of their HP in one volley, but it was just one volley. Almost 5,000 to 2,000 on the damage value now. Khorne has been churning through the spearmen that it can catch, but that's still not a lot of their army. Is this the Cold One Cup? No, Platypus will be hosting that, I believe, in about an hour and a half, though I don't know if his stream starts at the very beginning. Chaos Warriors continue to get kited around. Minos attempting to join the fight. I'm honestly surprised the balance of power is as close as it is. For one side having twice the damage value of the other, the balance of power isn't abysmally bad yet. Taking stock of the situation, we have 2 rather wounded Empire Knights, 3 rather wounded Empire Knights, 1 is quite healthy. Pistoliers, Outriders, Grenade Launchers, all very healthy. War Wagons, all extremely healthy with a good amount of ammunition left. And pretty much no Spearmen left for the Empire to speak of. Their Caster and their Lord, Franz, are very healthy, and Franz even gets a gigantic shot on Valkia. Gets another one, too, and she does not pop the Demon Shield, making me think that it was on cooldown. She is trying to bait Franz into landing in front of her Minotaurs. He's not going to do that. For Khorne, we have a good amount of infantry left. Some are quite injured, others are fine. The Blood Shrine, the Cultist, and Valkyrie are all feeling their age. One of the Minotaurs is almost dead. One is fresh as a daisy. You still think Penguin is happy with the matchup, Booge? Earthblood on some of the Cav. The Cultist of Khorne is routed, though he will rally very, very soon. Coming back to take another volley to the face. And I just don't see what Khorne can do here. I don't think we are in danger of the War Wagons running out of ammo anytime soon. Valkia dives back in with her Demon Shield pops. She's fine taking this fight. Reichland, Runefang, and Galmaraz from Franz, so it looks like he's just going to take the fight because the Demon Shield isn't the longest cooldown, but definitely a little bit of a mistake. Should have waited on those buffs until the Demon Shield wore off, but now it is gone. One more big hit from Franz. But he opts out as soon as the Demon Shield wears off. A bit of a micro mistake there. Though obviously, Hannodins, the Empire player, has a bunch of other stuff going on. It's not like he's just watching Franz fight and made that mistake. He's got Minotaurs closing in on his War Wagons. He's got to pull back and all this stuff. For sure, for sure. Chaos Warriors getting nuked down by the Grenade Launchers, and the Grenade Launchers still have 13 volleys left. Good number. And the War Wagons picking off the Minotaurs that, hey, just a second ago, these guys were full health, and now they're almost dead. What was that about? Anybody else see that happen? War Wagons down to 3 volleys, 7 volleys, and 7 volleys. Pistoliers running a little low on ammunition, but these Outriders are still quite ready to go. Trying to fire back on the Khorne throwing axes. Do opt into a fight with some Chaos Warriors, which is a bit of a mistake. They need to get out of here. And away they go, but a little whoopsie there. A little oopsie daisies. Why did he spear his own units? I missed that. For all Penguin fans out there, I recommend the Penguin of the Month subreddit. Gotcha. Blood Shrine of Khorne, just trying to harass Pistoliers, get a little bit of that regen going. And the Cultist of Khorne throws out a Bloodletter summon just as Franz deletes his ass from the face of the earth. So goodbye, my little friend. Boop. And he is dead. But, sorry, not a Bloodthirster summon, a Bloodletter summon. I guess he was just throwing it out because he knows he's dead. I don't know what it's going to be able to accomplish, though. Because Hannodins is not going to waste ammunition on that thing. He's a good enough player not to do that. Outrider's Grenade Launcher is going to fire at these poor Chaos Warriors. Can they dodge? They're trying to dodge. Oh, the violence. Oh, not that much damage because a lot of them actually missed. Nice job. Nice dodge, little friends. Khorne is remaining dogged in this game. War Wagons have just stopped firing. They turned fire at will off, and they're waiting for those Minotaurs or Valkia or someone to actually... someone worth their salt to come within range. So, they're just being super careful with their ammunition. Grieven, I agree. War Wagons, you can see they haven't fired in forever because they have the same volleys that entire time they were sitting, and then as soon as the Minotaurs come up, they just start shooting at them. So, pretty good War Wagon ammo discipline. Valkia's trying to find Franz. It looks like the Demon Shield is back off cooldown, so she's just looking for a scrap at this point. The Minotaurs are not looking for a scrap at this point. They're looking for a scrap at no point. They want peace. Blood Shrine of Khorne is attacked by Franz, and this is a bold call. Valkia is going to dive in on him. The Blood Shrine is gone. And she has not had to pop Demon Shield as Franz just walks away, finishing off that Blood Shrine. And he's going to be okay. War Wagons continue to shoot at the little Minotaurs. Pistoliers continue to shoot at the little Minotaurs. And an Earthblood for Franz tips this into army losses territory. 9,300 to 4,000 damage value. It is a toughie for Khorne when you get kited. When the missile units run out of ammo, Hannodins will have to engage? Yeah. But they didn't run out of ammo. What up, Strix? How you doing? Franz did well. The War Wagons did amazingly well, as they always do. Empire Knights did okay. Pistoliers and the Grenade Launchers did fine. It was just a very calculated pew-pew game. Valkia did fine-ish. Minos got run around the map. Everything else got run around the map. You are not going to see good value on this roster right now. And it's a toughie. It's a toughie. GG's. Oh, I got on the Total War Twitter. Oh, I got on the Total War Twitter with the Infernal Ironsworn video. Nice. We're fucking trending, lads. Let's go see. Hold on. Where its views at? Blasting charges do what? 10,000 views? Yeah, that looks about right. I was surprised CA liked that video, because I feel like that video was critical of the current blasting charge state of affairs with the Chaos Orbs, but alright, if they like it, they can post it, that's fine. I'll allow it. What do we got for picks and bans? So, Hannodins bans Empire. And Bloodpenguin goes Bretonia, bans Grand Cathay, Skaven, and Dark Elves. Bloodpenguin is a very good Bretonia and Empire player, so I understand why Hannodins is keeping him off of Empire. But he's equally good at Bretonia. His vengeance will be swift. His Grail Guardians will be many. Did Khorne have no dogs or they died? They died to Pistoliers. See you making fun of how bad they are balancing? Yeah, dude. You dropped the name Coops. Alright, we have Tzeentch versus Bretonia. Hannodins instant loads a build and readies up. But what can Bloodpenguin do against the power of instant readying? The mental flexing. Grace is out there listening to some Florence and the Machine. At a time like this. For anybody who cares, Platypus will be streaming a land battle tournament of his own in 1 hour and 15 minutes. That is on Total Tavern if you want to go sign up, and the link to his YouTube channel is there. If you want more land battle content in the day after we are done here, we should be done before that point. The 5-game series already 2 games in. Should be done for plenty of time for you guys to hop on over there, enjoy some more content, or join the tournament. I might join, depending on how this goes. If I have time to scarf down a bit of lunch, I might hop into that tournament, but I won't be casting it. You feel like Penguin just got outpicked again? Bretonia versus Tzeentch? Maybe. I haven't played this too much since the Grail Guardian buffs. Though I suppose Blue Fire takes care of all things equally. Blue Fire kills all equally. Hannodins, of course, is ready. Bloodpenguin's behind the blocker. He is just shifting around some chevrons. So we'll be getting into game shortly. Don't you worry. Oh, also, I heard there's this new thing going around. So anybody with the blue wrench for my channel, just a heads up. I got an email from YouTube that there are more scammers around than usual. And if they get in your chat and if they type a couple messages, they can like get this weird bug into your system and they can take over your YouTube channel. So anybody with a blue wrench, watch out for people using the code word Hannodins. If they type Hannodins in the chat, you gotta ban them. You just gotta ban them immediately. It's not, I can't, there's nothing I can do about it, alright? It's YouTube. YouTube sent me the email and they said anybody typing Hannodins in this chat just has to be banned. Like, so it's law now. My hands are tied. Stream of Corruption does surprising amounts of damage. Hey, Spirit of the Gorg. I don't know. I've actually been a little underwhelmed with Stream of Corruption. Are you overcasting or undercasting it? Coops! No, they took you! Coops, no! What are you gonna do? Yeah. The bots are here, shit. Dano hens. Memes aside, to fill time during the build phase we are in here, and this map is really pretty. I feel like I've played Peak Pass a decent amount. Maybe it's just like, because sometimes you get different weather. I don't know. This just like, the sunny version of it is actually really pretty. Okay, for the instant lock Tzeentch build that Hannodins apparently knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. We have triple Blue Horror of Tzeentch, 2 Marauder Horsemen of Tzeentch, and then a shit ton of Halberds. We have some Chosen. It looks like 4 Chaos Warriors, 2 Chosen. And then we have an Exalted Lord of Change of Tzeentch with pink and blue fire with the Fury Summon that for some reason I couldn't, there we go, highlight. With also Greater Arcane Conduit and Prismatic Plurality. Get Banadins, fool. On the other side for Bretonia. Still kind of setting up, so I don't want to miss any units, but it looks like everything is in my sight line now. We have Knights of the Realm plus Knights Errant spam. Trying to keep it cheap so that Blue Fire of Tzeentch doesn't take out an extremely, costly unit. You can at least go for cheap-ish, including the Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis. Just Knights Errant with Frenzy and better stats. Then we have some Peasant Bowmen, looks like 4 of them. 2 have Poison, 2 are regular. A couple Spearmen at Arms, a couple Peasants, a Grail Relique, the Fey Enchantress, and 2 Flying Paladins on their Pegasus, both with the Charmed Shield for a little bit of damage resistance against maybe blue fires and such. So the pink fires of Tzeentch, if overcasted, can literally one-shot Peasant Bowmen and shatter them off. Now, pink fire is kind of a weird spell. We were talking about it in the last stream where, like, I feel like sometimes it does all of the damage and sometimes it does almost none. And I can't figure out why or when. And I know, like, you're going to say overcast versus undercast. No, I mean, like, overcasting it on a unit sometimes just doesn't do the right damage. So I wonder if stuff gets knocked down, if it can't take the damage. I don't know. But anyway, usually an overcasted pink fire on one of these Peasant Bowmen literally shatters it. So I think Bloodpenguin didn't want to overinvest on Bowmen, just have them all get shut down. I have a ping. Why and from who? Can you duplicate items in BBB? I don't know. I would leave that to the BBB admins because they have a slightly different rule set. But I will say the Charmed Shield doesn't have a finite number of uses, which is usually the only way stuff is limited. Like Foe Seeker, you can have multiple Foe Seekers, you can have multiple Deadly Onslaughts. The only things that are limited are normally like single charge items or so, just because they can get a little toxic. So, the ranged Paladin's doing a pretty good job just being annoying, stopping the Tzeentch caster from being able to walk over here for free and do some pink fires, and also pretty decent dodging out of Bloodpenguin, using those charmed shields and their natural just bronze shields to deflect some of the missiles, but also this whole, like, landing, not landing thing has been pretty good. Now, Tzeentch, in general, is also fine with this. They're taking a high ground position right now that is going to be very annoying for Bretonia to deal with. The uphill charges from their knights just won't do any damage at all. So that is a bit tough. I wonder what Bloodpenguin will do to counter that, but otherwise both parties are generally fine with this early phase. Archers firing up into the shielded horsemen. That'll probably poke down their shields a little bit, and then Hannodins will realize they're under fire and just pull them back. Classic Tzeentch stuff. Now the archers are trying to shoot at Chaos Warriors. Again, you'll poke down their shields. I don't know how much more you'll get out of that, though. They have 100 armor. And there is a pink fire. There it is, doing a bunch of damage to Peasant Bowmen. And they didn't quite shatter. They didn't quite shatter. What does BBB stand for? Big Balls Boys. That is not a joke. Chosen with no Kairos is a bold move. True. So archers continuing to poke in. Cavalry trying to set up a bit of a flank, since they really don't want to charge uphill. Like, uphill and downhill does affect how charges work, and uphill it just has so many negatives that your charge probably isn't going to do any damage. Another pink fire, another overcast. That one is much closer to shattering them. Negative 47 leadership, but they actually rally up to 2. I am shocked they are still around. Knights took a bit of a charge. They just took the shields off the Chaos Warriors, and now they're trying to get out without taking too much damage of their own. Meanwhile, the Paladins, with the Skirmish Cav, not in position to really punish them. They did want to take a little poke onto that Exalted Lord of Change, but it looks like they just got nothing done, and the archers are eventually routed. The last two Peasant Bowmen that haven't been routed yet are continuing to fire in onto these Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch, doing very minimal damage, and the cycle charging the Bretonian Knights has begun. On the far side, though, these Chaos Warriors are getting whittled down. Their charged reflection and stuff is all broken as long as they're already in a fight, so the Knights are trying to just cycle through who is fighting them at any point in time. And these Knights just charge straight through, trying to get onto the blue horrors and stop them from firing down. The Fey Enchantress, though, she's staying so far away. Her Mortis Engine might be needed, though I guess he might want to save it for, like, hyper late game, and he wants her to be healthy. I don't know, but her staying so far away from this fight does strike me as a little strange. Another Overcast of Pink Fire, another almost dead Peasant Bowman. And the Chaos Furies of Tzeentch summon is out. That'll probably chase down and shatter that Peasant Bowman. Can maybe get a second one in the backfield. Bretonian Knights are starting to really collapse on the top side, but all they are doing with these cycle charges is getting through shields, and then when they have to back off to reset their charge, the shields start to come back, and you can see they are taking much more attrition damage. So the Fey Enchantress has to get up here. She has to get some Earth Bloods and Regrowths out. Yeah, she doesn't have Dwellers Below, so all of her Winds of Magic has to go into healing these Knights, or her crowd clearing is just bunk. A big blue fire takes a ton of damage off the Knights Errant, who are trying to deal with that Fury summon, save their little peasants for just a couple of seconds of time. And the Fey Enchantress being up here, she is getting nuked down by Chosen. She's in Chosen right now. Oh no! That is not who she wants to charge. She did not have support of any kind. She went from full health to almost dead. She's going to have to regrowth herself soon, but instead throws out an Earthblood for her and some of her Knights. Now, some of the Bretonian cycle charging is going okay, but they are just taking so much damage every time they do it, including the Fey Enchantress herself. Knights Errant in the back, trying to peel off these Chaos Furies with some Knights of the Realm helpers. Tzeentch has been using a lot of Winds of Magic. It is not Kairos. Kairos has way better Winds of Magic, like power reserve increases and stuff. So, Tzeentch could actually be burning through their Winds of Magic. Could. Another blue fire out onto more Knights. These Knights chasing around some stuff. But I'm wondering what is going to deal with all of these Chaos Warrior and Chosen with Halberds, because every time the Fey Enchantress gets involved to use her Mortis Engine, she's just getting obliterated by these Chosen! Completely murdered! Oh, she's already routing. Another pink fire goes for the Bowman. Kills them off too. And it's looking so rough for Bretonia. Alright, Chaos Fury's second summon is out. The Paladins flying around trying to harass this Exalted Lord of Change. And how are we doing on Peasant Bowmen? All four of them are still technically on the battlefield, but Furies are immediately sprinting for another one in the back. Bretonian Knights are getting routed off by the skirmish cav of Tzeentch. And for Tzeentch's frontline, we have a Chosen at half HP, another Chosen at full HP, Chaos Warriors at nearly full HP. I don't know how they get through all these halberds. The Fae is back in. She wants to start using that Mortis, but as soon as she gets into melee combat with these Chosen, they are just going to murk her into the dust. And she throws a heal out, but it misses herself and hits just these peasants. Oof. Yeah, just hit the peasants. The double Paladins are trying to catch the Exalted Keeper of the Exalted Lord of Change, but now they are just surrounded by Chaos Warriors with halberds. They're going to take a lot of damage. Fey Enchantress is trying to find somewhere to be. Now she does still have two healthy-ish Knights, but the loss of these Paladins is just going to sting. She is trying to punish it, though. She throws down a Chalice of Potions that is going to hit these Chaos Warriors unless they dodge, which they're just not going to. Now they're starting to dodge, but if you dodge, like they are, that allows the Paladins to break free of this halberd box. A pretty good play up there, but the Fey Enchantress down to 30 HP from trying to participate in the fight at all. If there is a blue fire on that Exalted Lord of Change, he has to use it on the Fey Enchantress. Why is he still using pigs on the peasants? Just kill the Fey. Bruh, just kill the Fey. Bounce power is getting disastrously bad, though. Paladin's still trying to fight that Exalted Lord of Change. The Fey Enchantress heals herself up a little bit with an Earth Blood. Why halberds here? I mean, halberds are doing insanely well. Why wouldn't you do halberds here? They're just murdering the Bretonian cav. Paladin still trying to hit the Lord of Change, who does throw out a blue fire just to snipe the Enchantress and kills him. Halberds here as Brett. There's no Halberds as Brett. Bretonia didn't take any Halberds. Do you know how to reduce or remove multiplayer lag? I don't know if it's me because other games work fine online, but at the moment I can barely play online on Warhammer 3. I don't know. There's some pretty atrocious lag between certain players, and I don't know why. Bretonia Halberds? But there aren't any! Spearmen aren't Halberds! Pullmen at arms are halberds. The Beastmen of Bestowed are halberds. These are just spears. Tzeentch is a pretty tough matchup for Bretonia. Hard to beat the Chaos Halberds and Magic. They can basically outcharge. Yeah. I agree for sure. The Halberds of Tzeentch, the Chosen, 3,000 and 1,800 value on them. The Halberds, the Chaos Warrior Halberds did fine. The Skirmish Cav did fine. Blue Horrors did okay. Fae Enchantress really struggled to get anything done in that game. Everywhere she went, there were just halberds to murk her. Knights, mixed value overall, okay. Peasants got nothing done. Peasant Bowmen also struggled to get value back for just getting pink fired. Yeah. Halberd box feels pretty goddamn tough to deal with for old Bretonia. Why Spear Dudes is Brett? Seems like a waste. That's better. I mean, are the sword board guys that much better than Spears? If he just has extra money for some chaff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they would accomplish, honestly. But I'm not much of a Brett peasant player. I tend to, when I play Brett, I tend to take like peasant mobs or battle pilgrims and nothing in between. Historically speaking, pikes are the anti-cavalry thing. Halberds aren't that long to be a good one on a horse. We need to bring bill hooks back. That'd be kind of funny. All right, for the next game, Bloodpenguin bans Dark Elves. Brett doesn't need shafts, not swords or spears, pain for shit that does shit. Yeah, like I said, I probably would go peasant mobs or battle pilgrims and just skip anything in between for most matchups, but I'm not a great Brett player. Penguin would have won if he took more Grero Leak. He had one. Nice. Bird agrees with me on a Brett thing. From a Brett main. Yes! I really like the Battle Pilgrims after the buffs. I don't think they're OP, I just think they're, like, solid. Which is good, you know. We like solid units. Not everything has to be OP or dog shit. Like, Plague Monks are... Actually, Plague Monks are on the stronger side, but Skaven just have other tools for doing what Plague Monks do. But I do enjoy Plague Monks. If globes ever get fucking nerfed into the dirt like they should be, I think Plague Monks will be pretty instrumental for Skaven to clear out mass amounts of chaff. Do we need to bring Maiden back from Vermintide? I don't think Maiden's ever returning to us. Hannodins goes Lizardmen, bans Empire, Vampire Coast, and Norska. I know for a fact Bloodpenguin hates lizards. Uh-oh. What's he gonna do? On a more serious note, for the Brett Tzeentch matchup, wouldn't the Trebs be huge for bursting through Tzeentch infantry? Samaric, I know some Tzeentch players have a good time with Trebs. I personally have very similar to my Soul Grinder experience with Trebs, where they just like miss a lot. And they take forever to get their value back because they just can't fucking hit anything. And if they do get if they get one lucky hit, Tzeentch's shields just take that shot. And then you have to get another good hit before the shields start regenerating, which just takes too long. Once they finish Darktide. How is Darktide doing? My friends picked it up. So, like, there was a loud set of the community that was very upset about Darktide, and on release it had, like, mixed or negative reviews. I played a bit of it, like, a bit, so I didn't get that deep into it, and I was like, I mean, the guns shoot, the enemies look like enemies, I don't really see too much problem here, but I'm not deep enough into this game to understand what the problems are, so I'm not going to pretend to weigh in. And then I talked to some of my friends who have played, like, a shit ton of those type of games. Like, they did everything for everything of Vermintide 1 and 2, and they played the shit out of Darktide. Like, they already had every character max leveled, and I had one character at, like, level 10. And they were saying that all the complaints are overrated, and, like, things aren't that bad for Darktide. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't have much expertise on the issue, but I know like a large set of the community was pissed off the game, and then my friends enjoyed it. And I haven't heard anything about Darktide in like 3 or 4 months. Yeah. And sometimes silence is as damning as people talking about it, so I don't know. Bill hooks would be cool to see. Why Shieldbreaker? It's fun, but it's not done, and it's so repetitive. And Fat Shark rolled out a full cosmetic shop on a full price game before much content. Oh, okay. Sometimes traits just outright didn't work. Darktide unfortunately still blows. Okay, so pretty mixed opinions in the chat too. I see. Looks like he's considering the dwarves. Alright, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the picks made. Alright, he's going Grand Cathay. Did you read any of the Genevieve Undead Warhammer Fantasy novels? Not yet. Not yet. I'm still working my way through Warhammer Fantasy. What are Hannodins bans again? He banned Empire, something and something. I don't remember. Empire, Vampire, Coast, and Noska. Vermintide 2 is better in every way, except the tactile feedback when hitting enemies. Hitting them is super satisfying, but doesn't make a good game of its own. 95% drop in player base? Oh. Are you talking about Darktide on release? Yeah. Warhammer 3 had a giant launch and then just cratered really hard. And that sucks. It was depressing to be a caster. It still is depressing. Still fucking sucks! Nah, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do when Warhammer 3 runs out of gas. Gotta figure out what to do with my channel. We either go super hard into the dating sim streams, maybe become a Call of Duty pro. I'm so good at Call of Duty, man. I'm so good. Like, you guys don't even know. You don't even know how skilled I am at video games, okay? Call of Duty 4 on the Xbox 360. I was pretty clean. Now, that was 12 years ago. And the last Call of Duty I played... Yeah. I like, dabbled in Modern Warfare 2 for, like, a week. And I was like, alright, I'm done. I'm good. So, yeah, I think after 12 years, I could polish it off. Go pro in, like, I don't know, a week? What are we thinking? A week? That's too much time. A day. Alright. So today's Sunday. Monday, I gotta go to work. I have a pretty busy day. Tuesday, I got a little bit of time, so yeah, dust off the old controller. I'll be Call of Duty Pro by Wednesday. Let's go. Let's fucking do it. I'm gonna come back to Darktide for sure. Hope they polish it up so we can all enjoy a good old For the Emperor. You could do Overwatch 2 content. What is going on with Overwatch 2? Even my friends who are like diehard Overwatch fans have kind of like, I don't know. They kind of just, oh yeah, we haven't been playing that much recently, or like I'm just not that interested recently, or something. So like it's either absolute flaming negative perceptions or like it's fine. And for me, that sounds pretty bad. Stormgate hype train, or you could stream ambush battles. Human Boy dog training videos? There you go, Jay. That's the real shit. Alright, Penguin has gotten to the point where he is just shuffling around Chevron, so we'll hopefully be getting into games soon. The controller for an FPS? I do play with controller on FPSs. Because, like, I don't know, man. I use mouse and keyboard for most things in life, so when I have a game that's controller compatible, I do it just because my wrists just get nuked. Like, I do stretches every day for my wrists, and in my weightlifting, I have 2 out of the 5 days I have a set for your wrists, and my wrists have been feeling pretty good since doing that stuff. But, like, yeah, if I can ever play a game that has you hold your hands in a different position, 100% gonna fucking do that. Have a good time. I loved the Switch because you could take the controllers off of, like, the port. Like, you didn't even have to hold it like a controller. You took the things, and I could just have my arms down by my sides and clicking through the buttons. Oh, it's so good for your wrists, man. It feels so good. Because the controller still feels alright. Like, it feels fine. And mouse and keyboard feel alright. But when your wrists are sore and your hands are sore, and you could just completely let them go limp while you play a game, oh, it feels, oh, so good. Alright, we made it through the build phase. They gave up on the PvE mode very recently. Yeah, I saw that all over Reddit. Which sucks, so I was kind of excited for that. My friends and I have some very casual gamer friends who don't play a lot, so then it's nice to do a PvE where it's just like they can help you fight the bots, and it's all about a team effort, but also like they're bots, right? So you can roughly like kill 5 or 6 bots before they go down or something, and it just feels better than PvP where they get literally trounced all the time. PvE mode, decided to do it. Activated, I'm trying to lie to people about it. Okay, some more just Blizzard shit. It's just Blizzard being Blizzard. Controller for an FPS using like a mouse and keyboard for a sports game. I don't get to use a controller very often. I take those chances when I can. You don't get any skins thrown at you for free. I will say trying to earn the skins in Overwatch 1 was rather enjoyable. Like when I, if Roadhog or who did I play? I played Mercy, Lucio, Moira, Roadhog, Winston. Yeah, tanks and supports are pretty much all I played because I just played Phil. I didn't give a fuck. So I got most of the Mercy skins. But I remember like Roadhog came out with this shark skin where he had like an anchor for his hook. I grinded a lot of games to get enough little gold bits to buy that skin. That was kind of fun. Like that was, I mean, were they overcosted? Was like the time invested to get it worth it? Probably not. Like that ratio could be improved. But I at least liked trying to earn something while I was playing a game for the sake of playing the game. Because there's no real progression in Overwatch. It's not like you get skills or upgrades or anything. It's just like, yeah, skins. So I don't know. I know they locked some characters behind paywalls. I don't know all the details of it, so I could be a little misinformed there. But like when you put characters behind paywall in a game like Overwatch, that is really pay to win because the accessibility of characters is the accessibility of strategy. So if you're the support and like I'm making this up because I don't know the new characters, if you don't have Mercy and it's like, hey, we're gonna run like a Soldier 76 comp here and we need Mercy to buff his damage when he has his ultimate, and then you just like type really quick, I don't have Mercy, then your team like can't use Soldier. So I don't know. In that type of game, players behind a paywall sucks. Alright. The video game we're actually talking about, 2 Peasant Horsemen, Peasant Long Spears in the backline, 2 Iron Hail Gunners, 4 Jade Warrior Crossbowmen, all with shields. We do have 1 Grand Cannon of Cathay, to keep the Lizardmen a little honest, a front line of Jade Warriors, and Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon with Regrowth and Flesh to Stone. On the other side, for the Lizardmen of Hannodins, we have a Pterodon Rider, 3 Ripperdactyl Riders, one of which is the Clostodon Hunter's anti-large version. We have some Feral Cold Ones, a bunch of Skinks, a Feral Dreadsaurian, a single Ancient Salamander, and a Slann Mage Priest of Life. Very dino-heavy build for the dinos. What up, TM? How you doing? Map seems pretty unbalanced for Cathay. This is a very divisive map in the community. Some people hate it. I'm not a big fan of this map either, but that's because I'm a Skaven and I want to shoot things, and this has terrain and trees, and I'm like, why don't people just stand and let me shoot them? Feral Dreadsaurian roaming through the trees. Meanwhile, the Skinks are trying to approach the front line, and the Lizardmen have absolutely 0 shot of beating these Jade Warriors in melee. It's all going to be about their single entity dinosaurs and their flyers just going past the front line. So we'll see what Bloodpenguin can do about that. Because Skinks, in no world are they going to beat Jade Warriors. Just not going to happen. Crossbows trying to keep the Feral Dreadsaurian honest, and these Iron Hail Gunners are trying to rampage him. If they can rampage him in the middle of these Peasant Long Spears, that'll be pretty huge for them. Rock Drop, that's what just happened. Rock Drop really hurt these Jade Warrior Crossmen. For the moment, only Harmony is keeping them in this fight. In the backfield, an entire Ripperdactyl Rider is taken care of with spears and some Peasant Horsemen plus a bunch of arrows. That is an expensive thing to lose. Cathay is already up on the balance of power, as the Feral Dreadsaurian might be in a bit of trouble. We have Iron Hail Gunners trying to reform outside the blob. And again, he is feral. He can just rampage. Now, I suppose we do have Slann to just give Cold-Blooded and make sure he doesn't rampage for too long, etc. Flesh to Stone on Celestial Dragon Crossmen. I didn't notice them. Hello, Celestial Dragon friends. Giving them a ton of physical resistance, and now Peasant Horsemen are streaking in on both sides to really try and punish these Ripperdactyls. Miao Ying is even transformed into a dragon to try and make sure things go according to plan. Peasants still poking at the Feral Dreadsaurian that is charging straight into Iron Hail Gunners. There is the Rampage. How quickly does the Cold-Blooded come in as he goes down to about half HP? You have to think it's soon, unless it's already been used on a different unit, which would be a disaster for the Lizardmen if Cold-Blooded is on cooldown. There it is. All right, he did save it for the Dreadsaurian, which is now going to get back on track, back into those Iron Hail Gunners, but doesn't even matter. On the low ground, Cathay is doing fantastically well and has already secured a little bit of a backfield for them to shoot up into these Pterodon Riders and Feral Cold Ones, who are just trying to be a bit of a harassment piece. The single Ancient Salamander is trying to get some stuff done, but the Colossus Hunter is getting pushed away. Does make another expensive Ripperdactyl Rider already off the battlefield. Where is Miao Ying? She's trying to deal with some Feral Cold Ones for the moment. She might want to hunt down that Ancient Salamander. It might be a better use of her time, but the Feral Dreadsaurian is currently dealing with some of the most cost-effective spear units in the game, and she's not enjoying it whatsoever. Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen firing their double shots into the Shredder, the Feral Dreadsaurian. Miao Ying now harassing the Life Slann, which is a pretty good call-out. Again, the Ancient Salamander might be a little easier of a target, but harassing that Slann really puts pressure on the Dreadsaurian to come protect him, and if the Dreadsaurian comes protects him, then these Iron Hail Gunners that he has been occupying might get a moment to sit and breathe and shoot. Miao Ying's straying awfully close to the Dreadsaurian. She does not want that fight at all. She needs to get off the ground or get away from him. I don't know why she came over here, but that is going to be a mistake. She's now surrounded by Ripperdactyls. The Dreadsaurian is here trying to poke her down, but Peasant Horsemen will chase the Ancient Salamander, get some decent damage there. We have Iron Hails rallying, but the rallying units have to be given orders much faster. They need to come over here. They need to help out as Miao Ying... Nope, that was an Earthblood. Earthblood from the Slann is helping out with all these Ripperdactyls and stuff around Miao Ying, but she cannot be fighting a Dreadsaurian like this. This is 100% a mistake. She needs to leave, needs to go, needs to not be here. Please don't be here. Run! What? Run! Run! Get out of there! Stop fighting that thing! Alright, Peasant Longspear still trying to defend. Jade Warrior Crossmen, some Peasant Bowmen, and Jade Warriors peeling off Skinks. Ancient Salamander is going to deal with the Iron Hail Gunner. She's now fighting the Slann. Why are you still in front of the Dreadsaurian? Run! Run! Get away from it! Don't fight a Dreadsaurian! Miao Ying gets a little bit of poke onto the Slann Mage Piece of Life. Now she's going to run away, but she's running tangentially to the Dreadsaurian. Now she gets off the ground, thank God. And Cathay is trying to hang on in this game. We have some Jade Warriors, Crossmen with a lot of health, but not a lot of time. And they have a ton of Jade Warriors around them, so they need to make sure they don't separate themselves too much away from their fellows. The heal cap has appeared on the Dreadsaurian. More Jade Warriors are in the distance. Miao Ying is chilling. She probably needs to go chase that Salamander as more Skinks chase off more ranged units, and the bounce power is coming back for the Lizardmen. Losing that Ripper is rough, yeah. Alright, Miao Ying lands. She just wanted to terror off all of these Skinks, I guess. That's okay. We have some crossbows back now. This is buying the Slann a little bit of time to help heal up the Dreadsaurian over there. Salamander still has tons of ammunition. Ripperdactyls are returning to get some healing, get some love. Feral Cold Ones chasing down those cannon crews in the distance, and the bounce power is right back to about even. As Miao Ying goes Salamander hunting, he is running back to the Dreadsaurian, though, so he will be just fine. Miao Ying transforms back into her human form. She does have regrowth. Looks like she's going to use it on herself. Peasant Longspear is going to keep these Jade Warrior Crossmen safe from the Pterodon Riders. They should be okay over there. More Skinks returning to the fight. And Spears and Jade Warriors continue to fight, but there's no Harmony nearby for them. So their stats are reduced, including their leadership. Penguin hit the lag switch, or am I on a contact high from Black? I haven't seen any lag. Peasant Long Spear is continuing to fight. Miao Ying is just chilling for now. Looks like she threw down some heals for herself and Flesh to Stone. I don't think she can cast Flesh to Stone or Regrowth from her dragon form, so when she is in her dragon form, she's actually not a caster of any kind. Pterodons land once again, trying to harass these little Jade Warrior Crossmen. And the Ripperdactyl's getting a bunch of healing. They are low on models, but they're still getting a lot of healing. More Earthbloods for the Dread Saurian, threatening to heal cap him soon. Cathay is trying to rally. So can Miao Ying carry? As any Jade Warriors that aren't with the main group are now just getting picked off. Peasant Long Spearmen also going on a bit of a journey to chase these skinks, but the skinks are way faster. You can't catch them. You're gonna have to come back. Nice comeback. I thought Penguin had this. As much as I do love constant heal blobs, it has been a nice comeback overall. I'd say some big mistakes were made in the mid game, like Iron Hail Gunners were rallied out in the main field, but nothing was done to protect them. Miao Ying had some weird prioritizations of her time. She was fighting that Dread Saurian for an awfully long while, which she could have been chasing maybe the Ancient Salamander, maybe harassing the Life Slan, chasing down the Ripperdactyls. I don't know about that. Cathay is getting whittled away. The Ancient Salamander is just destroying them. The Jade Warriors have also been left to the winds, and I do think the Lizardmen are going to take this game. Rocket, I think you're behind with your comment saying it's still rough for the Lizardmen, but good comeback. I don't know what Cathay can do to win this game at this point. Miao Ying's opting into a fight, but she is now going to get surrounded by Rippers, and the Dread Saurian is going to harass. We do have some Crossmen coming back in range, but they're so depleted from all the poke from the Salamander that their DPS really isn't there. Miao Ying's up in the sky, fighting with the Clostodon Hunters, who have gotten some buffs. So is there a stream after this? There is Platypus's stream for his land battle tournament, and it starts in 36 minutes. Big Salamander shot onto the Jade Warriors. Miao Ying does rout off the Clostodon Hunters. I don't know what kills the Dread Saurian. The Salamander is running low on ammunition. Miao Ying dives onto it, kind of has an awkward dance party for a little bit, then gets a big shot as the Dread Saurian does start walking towards her. Pterodons are back, Feral Cold Ones are back to keep harassing Cathay. And Miao Ying tries to get away from the Dread Saurian. Feral Cold Ones might keep her on the ground. They do get over to her, but she is going to be able to pass through this decently quickly. And Miao Ying is here for the Harmony buffs, giving everybody some leadership and stuff. Trying to get some shots out, but the Dread Saurian is just going to get some nice shots on her. She'll probably have to turn to her human form soon to get some more healing off. But even that's not going to be able to save this game. Could a balloon be used for stalk detection? I guess maybe, but the Lizardmen didn't have any stalking units. I don't know if anything was stalking. Miao Ying is in here fighting. Now, thankfully for her, all of her melee troops are still getting Harmony from the Jade Warrior that is trying to rout. And that can give them the edge they need in this fight, because as the Ripperdactyls are getting picked off here, Feral Dread Saurian's also not feeling so good. Miao Ying does have healings. This game isn't quite over. This is going to be the scary part, is finishing off the Cathay infantry. Still have some Feral Cold Ones. Miao Ying is transforming now. I wonder if she uses Regrowth on herself, or honestly, I could maybe see it on some of her peasant units. Maybe. There's a Regrowth for her. Is it Overcast? It is Overcast. She takes the Overcast damage, which is a little unfortunate. What round is this? This is semifinals. This is semifinals. Slan is running away. Salamander is probably going to opt out to use some of its ammunition soon. And he's firing at a unit that's currently really surrounded by Feral Cold Ones, so it might actually just do damage to itself, as it instead opts into melee combat. I'm not sure that was intentional. It looks like he just gets movement orders to continue walking through the area. Slann has fallen back. Dreadsaurian's falling back. A little bit more of the kite times. Cathay is ahead on the balance of power for now. And if Miao Ying, she's nearly heal capped. If she has any Winds of Magic left, Flesh Stone could get pretty nasty in the late game. I also could maybe see a regrowth onto some of these Jade Warriors or something. Jade Warriors hanging out with Miao Ying. Miao Ying's running over the speed of sound to try and catch up to the Salamander, and with her 46 speed, she was doing a hell of a job at it. She has to be careful not to get too separated here, because then her troops will just get picked off by the Dreadsaurian and such. Jade Warriors trying to fight back the Pterodon Riders, who have surprised them. And she does throw down a regrowth onto her Jade Warriors. Alright, Dreadsaurian piles through the Peasant Long Spears, getting a ton of charge damage because their charge brace or whatever was broken by these little skinks, and it's downhill. And he was attacking the unit behind them, so he actually does manage to get the attacks off. Miao Ying can turn into a dragon soon. Her cooldown is gone. And when she does that, it'll just immediately get her into the sky. So if she at any point doesn't want to be fighting this Dreadsaurian, she can just opt out. She can just say no. More skinks are pushed away. The Ancient Salamander still has 3 shots. He's still trying to kite this one out. And Miao Ying is chasing around the Dreadsaurian. He misses one of his key last shots. Miao Ying continues to harass the Dreadsaurian. So the Slann, I don't think he has any blood punishment stuff back. No, he doesn't. He's used everything. And I haven't seen a ton of healing out of him recently. So I have to think that he's out of Winds of Magic at this point. Miao Ying does dodge a Dreadsaurian attack and then manages to transform into her dragon form. I wonder what she will do with that. Does she want to just fight this guy on top of the spears? It looks like she does. That landing animation definitely worked, and everybody saw it working perfectly. She gets a decent shot onto the Dreadsaurian. Ancient Salamander fires at her, but she really just wants to keep these peasants in the fight. Manages to rampage the Feral Dreadsaurian. Now, I'm sure he has a Cold-Blooded ready for him. There it is. He's able to move once again. He doesn't really want to stand in these spears for too long, but he can't back away from the fight with Miao Ying. Doesn't want to take those shots in the back. Meanwhile, the Ancient Salamander fires in with the last of its shots on the Peasant Long Spearmen, who do rout, leaving just Miao Ying all alone. She has some Jade Warriors rallying who can come back into the fight, and the Dreadsaurian's getting low. It is feral, it is a wild animal, so its leadership, like most animal-type unit leaderships in this game, it is actually lower than you might suspect. If that Cold-Blooded wears off, he'll actually get rather close to routing. Jade Warriors trying to fight uphill. Terror out in from the Feral Cold Ones, giving Miao Ying a little bit more support, but she's getting bodied by this Dreadsaurian right now. It is just putting the smackdown on the poor Dragon Lady. She needs to rally some Jade Warriors to help her. I imagine she also might go human form soon. As Cold-Blooded wears off, 15 leadership for the big boy. Can she rout him in any form? Jade Warriors are starting to surround. More Jade Warriors are coming back. She gets a big shot onto the Dreadsaurian, and if he routs, this game might end. Yeah, he's gonna rout. Because without him, Miao Ying can solo the rest of this army. Ancient Salamander's going for a rear charge, a valiant attempt, and gets a decent amount of damage off, but Miao Ying needs to follow this Dreadsaurian for sure. She turns around, she baps the Salamander in the face. One more tail flick should do it. Nope, she does the Chompy Chomp one, and that does not work out for her. Jade Warrior's barely hanging on to the fight. Miao Ying gets another shot onto the Ancient Salamander. She's trying to carry this game on her back. I wonder if and when she has to transform into the human form to use some more of her Winds of Magic, if she has any. Miao Ying continues to fight the Salamander, misses another attack. The Dreadsaurian's getting pretty far away. He might rally back into this game as another big shot onto the Salamander. Slann is also going to opt in, and another Cold-Blooded. It's already off cooldown? That's kind of insane. Another Cold-Blooded trying to get the Dreadsaurian to come back. Ancient Salamander's taking a lot of hits. Kind of surprised the Ancient Salamander's still here. Missed another shot from Miao Ying. She has Peasant Long Spears coming back. She should probably opt out of this fight. She needs to go up onto the high ground and rejoin her Peasant Spears. She needs to stop fighting. She needs to stop fighting. She needs to stop fighting. Please leave. Please leave. You're fighting like in a million v1. Just go back to your support. Damn it. Shit. She died. Okay. Yeah, I think there was a couple mistakes there from the Cathay player. Some late game engagement problems, unfortunately, where like they just needed to be way more like they needed to stop committing to so many hard fights, and like when Miao Ying was doing great, she had rallying peasants she could go up to one, reset her charge bonus, right? Because she'd go back to fly over to her peasants, and then she could dive down and get a charge bonus refresh. And she was fighting a 2v1, so she could get out of the 2v1, and she could get back to any support. So just, unfortunately, a late game bit of a mistake on the decision-making where you just stayed in a fight with skinks and a Slann and a salamander rather than going back to your peasants and resetting where you were at. So, yeah. GG. Looking at the values, Slann 1,000, Feral Dreadsaurian 2,100, Ripperdactyl's mixed value overall, kind of okay. Salamander did fantastically well. He did more than the Dreadsaurian, for perspective. Feral Coldens did fine. Skinks did okay. On the other side, Miao Ying tried to carry the game, 3,000 value for her. Crossbows really struggled to get their damage value back, except for that one, apparently. They got mostly shut down. Iron Hail Gunners did okay. Peasant Horsemen did fantastically well. Apparently countercharging those Rippers was something, and the Peasant Longspears also did amazingly. But, yeah, Cathay had a lot of healing to churn through. A lot. GG, well played. GG, well played. That'll be a 3-1 to ol' Hannodins. And that's it. That is it for today. Miao Ying is a fair and balanced lord. I mean, she's certainly very, very strong, but yeah, watching that game, I think healing is more of a problem than Miao Ying specifically. She also has healing. So healing in general for both sides, pretty damn strong. All right, GG, well played. Good series, good series. 3-1 to Hannodins, who will wait in finals for the winner of Chief and Cal Harmon. I don't know when that game is being played. I have not been made privy to that information because I am just a caster for BBB Season 1 playoffs. In about 26 minutes, Platypus will be firing up his stream for his tournament. Go check that out if you need some more content today. And I am leaving. Goodbye.